listening to Cup of Queens with Paige and Saray, and today we're so excited. We're interviewing the lovely Jordan Epping, who has done so many different things. I'm so jealous. She's cheered for the Minnesota Vikings. She's now starting her own career as a licensed esthetician, and she's worked at Every Corporate.
Yeah, Jordan has really worn a lot of different hats, and within every single one of these roles, she has learned a lot of really cool life lessons that she shares with us today. So we're so excited for everyone to hear this interview.
So grab your cup and enjoy.
Well, we're going.
We're rolling. So welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
We're so excited to have you, and we have so many questions, and there's so many different things that you've done in your life so far and that you are going to do.
Yes.
So we're just going to dive right in.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So, tell us about your background, upbringing.
Give us a little past story. Set the stage for us.
Yeah, okay.
Who is
so,
Jordan?
1991, June 21st. So I was actually born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So, fun fact. I know, a little different. So my mom was in the Air Force, and so that's like where things had kind of started. But we moved from there to Philadelphia, and then back to North Dakota, to Bismarck, where my mom is from. So I've grown up in Bismarck my whole life, so true North Dakotan, even if I wasn't born here. So I'm still North Dakotan. And I went to Bismarck High School and danced and had a great upbringing. Like I had, my family is super close. I have two brothers, and we're all just like very tight knit. And I feel like they've always been so supportive of me and anything I wanted to try, and business ideas or just what I want to go to school for or just whatever it was. There was always, I just felt like I was always supported. So it's no surprise that I have a lot of things that I've done and I continue to do just because it's kind of how my family is too. And my mom is very much the same way. She's very ambitious. So it's kind of fun just to be able to do that and feel confident as I'm doing it with my family's support. But yeah, life was good. It's North Dakota was simple back in the day, like very simple compared to these days. I feel like things are not simple anymore.
Yeah.
So
it's changed a lot.
It's changed a ton.
Yeah.
And even when I go back home, I'm like, things are it's just different, But and then I went to North Dakota State University for college, and I went for retail merchandising and design, and then a double minor in business and psychology. So kind of touched on a lot of things.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's incredible.
And you danced too, right?
Yeah, so I didn't dance in college.
Okay.
I danced through high school, but then I coached in college. So, I coached, Fargo North, and so I met one of my best friends there, and after that is when I had moved in 2014 to Minneapolis.
Okay.
So it's just kind of been lots of things, lots of dance involved and whatnot, but it's been really great.
Cool.
So what brought you to Minneapolis?
So I met my now husband in 2014, and I was still living in Fargo at the time, and we were long distance, and it was just kind of at a point where I was ready to move too. I was in Fargo and, in North Dakota for so long. And so I figured it would be a good time to move, kind of to pursue that relationship. But then I actually also got a job at the lineup. So for those who don't know, I was like, it's dance uniforms. They create dance uniforms and costumes and everything. And so I had known about the lineup. We've worked with them forever, for all the dance things that I've done. And so I got a job with them, and it was like a total dream job.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. Really fun. And so, I started, that was in October of 2014. So I've been there just over 6 years that I've lived there. It was wild.
Yeah, that is really, I totally forgot you did that. I knew it, but I completely forgot about that.
It's so, it feels like so long ago.
Yeah.
But that was the beginning, and I'm sure we'll jump into this, but that is how I decided to try out for Vikings.
Cool.
So,
That's so cool.
Which I'm so dying to hear about.
I think that is the coolest thing. Is that something that you always wanted to do, was be on a pro dance team?
I think Yes, I definitely wanted to, but I did not think that was in my cards. I really didn't. No, and I always felt, so you had asked, like, I danced through high school. I didn't dance in college. And I had always felt like there was just something, like, missing of just, I wasn't quite done. You know? Like, I felt like there was, like, still something more I was going to do, but I didn't think it was going to be that. Like, I just didn't feel like that. I don't know. I just didn't think I, like, had the skills for it, or, like, I was that person. So it was crazy because when I started at the lineup, there were a couple girls that I had met who were on the team. A couple of them were captains, and they had all been on the team for 5 or 6 years, and they are the ones who convinced me to try out. So I actually, like, had zero thought, or even, it wasn't even a desire. It was like, that sounds really cool, but, like, that sounds like too good to be true.
Right.
Yeah. And so I was like, and at that time, I hadn't danced in 6 years. Like,
which is a long time.
In the dance world, you know, if you are not moving your body in that way, like,
it goes quick.
Goes fast.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was crazy. I mean, I just didn't think that it would be even possible for me to make the team because I hadn't danced in so long, and it's such a different style of dancing too. You know, the NFL style is very it's very big dancing. It's very poppy, kind of more on that palm style of things, but it's definitely out of my comfort zone, especially because I learn, like, when I learn a dance, I am, like, slower at learning. Like, I can, as soon as I go to bed and I, like, can, like, think about it, I'm great. But until that moment, I get, like, it's, like, hard.
Yes.
Know? So tryouts are terrifying. They're so scary.
What does it look like?
The
tryout process.
Oh, girl, it is.
Oh, girl, I know.
Anybody who's tried out for the team or any NFL team, let alone any team, we all know it's scary. But when you're, especially for, you know, in the NFL cheerleading team, it is definitely very intense. It's very intimidating. There's hundreds of girls around you. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody has a six pack. You know, like, you're just like, oh my gosh, like, is my hair big enough? Like, is, you know, am I fit enough? Like, did I do enough? And so you show up and, you know, you stretch and whatnot, but then you really learn routines. So you learn your first routine. And like I said, I'm a slower learner, and I like to be really perfect at it. So, like, that is hard for you to, like, get in your brain. You just got to keep going with it, you know? And so, you show up, you learn a routine, and within, I mean, as soon as the routine's, like, taught and you go through it a couple times, is ready to perform. So then, like, you have to go in front of the judges and you have to perform, and you don't want to mess up, right? And it's crazy. I mean, and you're with, like, a group of people that you don't know, and it's wild. And so you just kind of have to fake it till you make it. And if you mess up, like, you just keep going. And it's a very intimidating process, but it definitely teaches you a lot of just kind of that, put a smile on, you know, like,
fake it till you make it.
Truly fake it till you make it. Because if you act or, like, show on your face that, like, you messed up or something, like, it's very obvious, and the judges know that too. Like, they can see it really quickly. So, and then you go through, like, rounds. So then, like, after that first routine, then there's cuts. So you hope that your number gets called. And then you keep going through the audition process, and that's open auditions. And so then I think there's about, like, 3 routines that you learn. There's usually a skills portion of it too. Yep. And then if you make it through open auditions, then you're going to go on. And this is at the time when I was on the team. So this has been a couple, that was my first year, was 2015. So it's been some time, and things have changed since. But we had semifinals. So you go into, like, training camp, which would be like maybe like a 4-week program.
Gosh. And you're not even on the team yet.
No. You're not on the team yet.
You're
learning, like, more routines, and you're getting in, like, your small groups of who you're performing with. If you making it to finals. And so then you go through semifinals, which is going to be like that pageant setup, right?
Sure.
So, which is going to be like your swimsuits and to see your fitness. And then you do a solo routine in front of everyone. And this is like it's set up in like a theater type of style. And then you have the one that, like, always gets everybody is the onstage interview question. You have a question or two that you'll get, and you'll have to answer these questions in front of everybody. And so it's definitely scary because some can just really throw you off. I mean, it literally feels like Miss USA. I mean, not to, like, the grandest, like, the grandest, but it is. I mean, it really feels like you are there in front of, and you want to make sure the right thing. And, you're in, like, the little black dresses. So you're just like, you just got to stand tall and strong and whatnot. So that is semifinals. Then after that, you move into finals, which is going to be at usually the Mall of America. And it's this, like, big production, and all the routines, and it's really a cool thing to watch, but it's definitely very scary to be a part of, because that night you do all the performances and everything, and then that next day you either get a call or you don't. So if you don't make it, you don't get a call.
You don't get like anything.
No.
Oh, that's hard.
It's real tough. It's real tough. So
you're just sitting by your phone and
Yeah.
praying for that.
Yes.
So when you got the call, were you so excited?
So excited. It literally felt like I was just like, I can imagine like this is not as grand, but like, like the football players and they get a call or something. And like, that's how it felt. Like,
Yes.
I was with my family and we were at the hotel, and, I'm seeing like with my friends' text messages, like just going through, who made it, who got the call, and, see the numbers like dwindling down of how many spots they have left. And I got a call. I know. And then I was like, I hope like I don't get a call about like my car needs a service.
Right.
Like, I was like, can we
Nobody call me.
Nobody call me.
Please don't call me. I am like so scared, but then I ended up getting the call, and it was awesome. So it was a really cool feeling. And from that moment on, I knew like life would be different in a different way. Like I just felt like this was an opportunity that I could like really take with me in so many different areas of my life. But back to the point of like, I just never thought it would be in my cards. And as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, like this gets to be my final like thing with dance.
Yeah.
Like I finally get to have that moment that I really didn't think I was like, I don't know. I just didn't know if I was not even capable. I just didn't know if I would ever get the chance to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of things that go into play with it, but I did. And I made it on my first try, which is not always common. And the rest is a little
Oh my
amazing.
gosh.
How many seasons were you on?
So I did it for 2 seasons.
Okay.
I did the end of TCF Bank Stadium and then the beginning of US Bank.
Oh my gosh, how cool
That's so
that you got to be a
cool.
part of both. Oh my
And you were the
gosh.
first. That's
The
what's
first.
even cooler.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Wow.
And like, I'm so glad that I got to have both, because TCF Bank Stadium, and that's like kind of where the University of Minnesota play. It's outdoor.
Yeah.
It's a really cool stadium. It's very loud. So like with all the Vikings fans, it is so loud. Everybody feels very close to you. So it's very small, like tight knit, but it's so loud, so cool. Like you can see everybody's faces, so you're pointing to people and cheering with them, and you can like, you're really interacting with the crowd. But with US Bank, if you've been there, it's grand, right? It's so grand, it's so big, it's beautiful, and it's really cool. It's obviously huge, and just it's like a sheet of people. Like you don't even notice, like you can't see people, you can see people, but you can't like really see people because it's just like everybody's so far away.
Sure.
But with that being said, as you can imagine, like the noise just goes like way up, and it's just a totally different experience. But yeah, it was really cool. So.
That is wild.
That's amazing. So, you talked a little bit about the tryout process and what that looked like. How did you stay confident and keep your self-esteem up? Because like you had said, everybody's gorgeous, everybody's talented.
Yeah.
How did you manage that?
That's a great question. I think that, the biggest thing for me going into tryouts was that I didn't want to have expectations of like, I either am going to make it or I'm not. Like, I just think that like a lot of times in life, like the times that are the most disappointing is that when we like have these really high expectations and it doesn't happen. And so I think I kind of went in with like no expectations, and just my goal was I want to meet a friend, because that's it. Like that's
that.
Cool.
My goal was that I wanted to meet a friend. I moved for my now husband Tyler, and I had a lot of his like guy friends, but I didn't have any like girlfriends in the cities at that time. Yeah. And I was like, if I can just meet a friend at tryouts, like if I don't make it, at least I know somebody, right? And so I think just going in with like maybe like a different goal than just like, I want to make the team. I think that really helped me, because it was like, if anything, this is just a really great experience, and I hope I meet a friend. And I remember thinking like, it wasn't even tryouts. There's prep classes that happen to get you ready for tryouts, and you can just, randomly take them. It's kind of like a workshop, I guess. And you learn routines and stuff. And I had met a friend the first night, and I was like, okay, great. Check it out. Like, everything else now. Yeah. Literally, I was like, everything else is just like for fun. And we actually both ended up making it together, which was really fun.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, she's one of my best friends. And so it's just really fun. Like, I think that going in, just having that expectation of like, don't have an expectation of whether I'm going to make it or not. I just want to like enjoy the experience and enjoy the moment. But I also think it takes a lot too to like remember that like you are unique too. Like you don't know what they're looking for, but like you know, maybe I'm not as like, I don't have the best skills or the best, you know, turns, or I'm not like the absolute best dancer. I mean, you're surrounded by a lot of, especially Minnesota dancers who are so incredibly talented, girls that have danced at U of M, and I'm over here like, I haven't danced since high school. You know, like it's like such a different thing, but like I think that we all have something to offer, and I think not forgetting that like you are equally as important and gifted as the next person. It just may be different like skill sets, you know? So like you can bring something to the team aside from just skills or leaps or jumps. Like there's so much more to it. And I think that's what you have to really remember. And I think I don't know if maybe I thought that hindsight more than anything, but I think in the moment I was just like, how can I, you know, stand out? And it's like, I just have to be me. Because I haven't danced in forever and I don't know anybody. And I didn't even know like I'm supposed to wear red lipstick, and someone had to like throw red lipstick on me to know that like that was a thing. I was like,
oh my gosh, didn't get that memo.
Didn't get the memo, but like, and then I thought you wore red lipstick the whole time. And I, you know, when we did our interviews, you have to do interviews in that time too. And I wore red lipstick to my interview. Nobody else had red lipstick on. Oh my gosh. So I thought you wore it the whole time. You don't. And I had red lipstick on my teeth during the interview. And one of the coaches had to be like, telling me to like, you know, like just something to cheat. So I was like, I am not going to make this happen. You know?
And you did.
That's it. So it's like through those moments, you're like, if you're just like kind of vulnerable and just be like, you know, just humble about it. You're just like, I'm just here and I'm just like going to do my absolute best, you know? And I remember one of the coaches during the tryout process, she's like, you just look like you're very like invested. Like you look like you're just you're here and you're listening and you're attentive. You know what I mean? And I think that just like shows like you can still stand out in different ways than just what you think that you're there for and they're looking for. Yeah. So, it was really cool. And it was great.
And tryouts is just the start of it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I think everyone's probably watched, like, Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Like, you kind of see that to get a little glimpse of what it's like to be on an NFL cheerleading team. I know, it's so good.
I know,
oh my
it's
gosh.
crazy.
But tell us you made the team, unbelievable, but now you go through the season. What is that like?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, it's like basically as soon as you make the team, it's like everything is just like hit the ground running. Like there's you have a moment to like celebrate for a hot second and just like high five each other. And then now you're like, we're going, right? Yep. Like we have personal trainers and we have like, you know, you think about your fitness, there's goals and all the things. And it's just, there's a lot happening. So we like right away head into like the calendar shoot. And so that happens like within the first month, which you're in a swimsuit, or at that time we were in swimsuit calendar. It was a swimsuit calendar. So we would have, you'd want to look great. Yeah. So for that, so like that's like a month, like right into, right after tryouts. But then from there, I mean, you're really getting ready for game day. And so that's happening, basically like May and June are like the time that you're really buckling down to work towards the season. And so you're learning new routines. You're getting your small teams, which our small teams are the teams that we are in the corners of the football field. And so we have our small teams, and that doesn't change throughout the season. So you like get, with these teams, and the coaches pick, who dances the best together, who, looks the best together height wise and all that kind of things. Cool. So it's like really a cool thing. So then you have your small teams. And so we, have all of those routines and the fun things of even like picking the name, like that, all that's our team name, and like that stuff happens. And then you're working towards, first game, which is going to be in August. And it's like, it was like one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It is so like physically difficult. Like, at the time I was working 2 like part-time jobs just so I could like make sure I had enough time to get to practice on time. And we have to have full hair and makeup for practice. So like you have to like be on, fully on before you even get into all the time before you get into the field house. But yeah, you're busting, and you're just like, I spent so much time, you know, at the gym, even 2 times a day, going into practice. And in practice, we have a trainer that we're working out with the first hour of practice. And then,
how long were the practices?
It would start around, I think it actually technically started at 6:30, but I think we all got there like at like 6 to practice.
Yes.
Practice.
Yep.
And then going, I mean, really up until 10:30. So it's like, I think,
that's an crazy long day.
it's like, I think we would technically be like till 9:30, but like it would usually go until 10, or like, you know, you miss it to 10:30. So you wouldn't get home. I mean, you're eating dinner at 11 o'clock, you know? And so it's like, it's physically draining. And, I mean, I've never been pushed so hard in my life, but it is for a reason. I mean, when we get to this part of like game day, and we can go into it now if you want, but like game day is the most like physically strenuous thing I've ever done in my life. Like,
I could believe it.
So hard. So it's like, you do want to make sure you're prepped physically and mentally too. I mean, there's a lot of things to know and to remember, but like to, you know, be ready to go.
Yeah.
Or being able to dance through an entire football game, but even post, like, and like before that too, like you're going from like the wee hours in the morning to all the way at 4:00 p.m., you know, like on game day, we, a lot of people don't know this, but we actually as cheerleaders wake up at 3 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
For a noon game.
Oh
so
my
3 a.m. Yep, it's very early. And we get full hair and makeup ready. Yep. And then we're
Do you do that yourself?
Do ourselves.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So we do that ahead of time before we even get to the stadium. And then we're there at the stadium at 6 a.m. until, so we get there at 6, and then we have to be on the field ready for a practice at 7. Mm-hmm. So we have our field practice at 7, and we run through all of our routines, you know, full out and marking everything, or like our spots and making sure the music sounds good, everything like that. So we have a full practice, like pretty exhausting at that time. And then we go back, get touch-ups. We do have hair and makeup there for touch-ups and whatnot if we need it. And then hopefully you grabbed a bite to eat, because now we're changing outfits and we're going for pregame appearances. So now you're going out and, you know, meeting people and selling calendars and all that kind of stuff beforehand, taking pictures, of course. And then you come back in, you change one more time, you do a circle up, and then you're headed out for the pregame performance. And then you're going into the tunnel, have those cheers, and then you're back out there for the starting lineup and national anthem.
Wow.
So it's like, so that's our, you know, I mean, we're getting up at 3 o'clock and we're not leaving the stadium until like 4. So I mean, it's truly a 12-hour day. So like, you know, it's a lot, you know, like it's a lot. I mean, we're exhausted by the time. I mean, I remember all of us, like, we always talk about like, what are you going to eat after the game? Because it was like, I mean, you could eat a whole pizza and still not make up your calories. Yeah. You can burn so many calories. Like, you're like, I'm good. So
that's insane. I did not realize that at all. I mean, I had an idea it was a long day, gruesome, but
definitely. Yeah.
So, okay, why did you retire then after 2 seasons?
Yeah. It's, you know, it's a part-time job technically, but it's a full-time commitment. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of sacrifices that not even I had to make, but my family had to make. I mean, I couldn't see them, you know, and I didn't get to see them for certain holidays, and I couldn't just like pop home. You know, my home is 7 hours away, so like I couldn't just take a day off because I can't miss practice. Right. You know, you can't miss practice or else you're going to miss a game. So it's kind of like you really have to be there at all times. And so, I mean, one Christmas, my parents and my brothers, and now my husband, like, spent Christmas in a small, tiny hotel, like, just because they wanted to be there. They could be there for me, and then we had a game and stuff. But, you know, there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with it. I mean, I barely saw Tyler. I mean, it was a lot of, it was focused on Vikings. That's what it was, you know? And so I loved it. I would do the same experience all over again if I had the opportunity, but in the same, it was just like, I want to do it once and do it well. Yep, so I think I knew that if I made it my second year, which I did, I wanted to go full out, give it my absolute best, and then I wanted to be done. Like, I knew going into it, that was my last year. So everything I did, I'm going to do the best. I'm going to sell the most calendars. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to work my hardest. I'm going to do anything and leave it literally all on the field. Yeah. And so I think, and because we actually have to try out every year. Right. Retry out. So even if you've been on the team, doesn't matter how many years, you still have to retry out, and anything can happen. It's happened and anything will happen. So when I found out that I made the team, that call, that we talk about, I mean, it was like, oh, thank God, you know,
Okay.
this is like perfect. I'm gonna
relieved.
like really, I'm relieved. Like this can be my moment to just like kind of say my like goodbyes to my dance life as the physical dancer, but like also just that moment in time too, because it was amazing, but it was definitely a huge commitment. But so much has come from it, and like more so, I just feel like who I am is a lot in part because of my experience with Vikings. I just think about, we had in between all the games and the practices, we have to do a lot of appearances. So a ton of charity appearances, which honestly were my favorite. I love them. Like people just like, you're wearing the uniform and people come to you and they're like, thank you for being here. And I'm like, you're welcome. Of course I'm here, you know, but I think that just like that representation that you're there,
so cool.
People love it and I love it. It warms my heart every time. And so I think that one thing I always take away, and I think about it often, is that we are always, because we're at these appearances, and a lot of times, you know, you're in your uniform and you are walking into a situation, you don't know anybody. You are just there to entertain kind of, and so you learn how to get very comfortable in very uncomfortable situations.
Which is awesome.
It's huge. Like it's a great thing. Like before this, I would not be able to just walk into a room and feel okay. You know, I'd be very like nervous, like am I saying the right thing? And now I'm like, I'm just here, like whatever you need. Like how can I help you?
I've had to walk in this room with a 2-piece on and I've been fine.
I've literally been like, half naked and it's okay. Yep, sell on the calendar when you're like this is my swimsuit body. You know, it's crazy, but like I think it's like such a good thing just like in my life now of like feeling really comfortable and helping other people feel comfortable in a room when things can be kind of awkward and uncomfortable and you don't know anybody. So that was really great. I'm really glad I had that time and that moment, and it was amazing. And
you learn a lot from being in a team setting where you're representing something that's much more than just Jordan.
Right.
And that's what's cool about, I mean, people getting excited to see you is because they see you and they see Vikings, and everybody loves the Vikings and connects to that. And it's really cool that you got to be a part of being something bigger than yourself and kind of having that responsibility to be like, okay, I am no longer just me. I'm
representing this huge organization, you know, and I want to do it to the best of my ability.
Exactly. That's huge, because it's like, that's kind of the other half of it is like you're representing a very large organization, but when you have that uniform on, I mean, when you zip up the boots, like you are a Vikings cheerleader and people know who you are. And so, you know, you really it's like that professional maturity of just being like, even if you're having a bad day, like we're going to smile, we're going to be good, you know what I mean? And it's like, you are representing a whole brand. And so I think that going forward outside of the boots is like, no, like you're representing yourself always. So it's like, I mean, that just people rely on you for kind of, you know, being that positive person, that cheerleader truly in real life. And so I've noticed that like I have my own like kind of standard to uphold, right? Like I just want to make sure that I'm always giving the good energy and making people feel happy and comfortable. And even if my day is, you know, not going great, like I can turn it around and make people feel really great about their day, regardless of, you know, what outfit I'm wearing.
Yes. So, and I think what stems from that is that you truly then do start to feel that way. You know, when you're forced to walk into a room and you're like, okay, I'm not feeling it today, but I'm going to put on my happy face. All of a sudden, those kind of not great emotions that you maybe had before do kind of go away, because you learn how to almost like pull yourself out of the rut or get yourself out of the ground and be like, okay, I'm going to be good today.
Just kind of always having that awareness too. That no matter what, you can always make a positive impact on somebody.
It's like your energy is, and I think I've noticed this even more in the last couple of years. I think especially after, you know, COVID too, right? Like you can feel people's energy. It's a very, I think more than ever, it's very apparent. If someone has bad energy, you can feel it. If someone has good energy, you're like, ooh,
attracted to it.
You're like attracted to it. So I just feel like
you kind of want to like mirror that.
You're like, I want to be by you, or like I want to hang out with you, or like you want to do that for other people, because I can see what that does for others when I'm around them. So I think it is true. Like we have such influence, all of us have such influence on people around us, and if we can really give that good energy and, you know, just that high frequency vibe, like that's just going to like spread.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true. Perfectly said.